What's going on? Play by Play Gaming here, back with another Epic 7 video, and today we're testing out Taeyou, or Taeyou, as a lot of people like to call him, and we have him on a slightly different build from our initial thought process on him. So we were thinking about building him, fast, damage, but we said, you know what? His multis are pretty bad. He's probably going to be bad. So let's go a little outside the box and just play him straight up control. And so that's what we did here. We built him almost 300 speed, 280 speed. Yes, I know I'm missing 20 speed, but he is a 115 base speed unit. So it is pretty rough getting some pretty decent speed on him. But we got him at 280 speed, some effectiveness and some bulk so that he can survive. So the plan with him was for him to follow up right after an opener unit. And so we were thinking about, hey, you know what, let's build him like get 250, 260 maybe with some damage, but it was rough. It takes kind of cracked gear to build him that way. So we said, you know what, let's just throw AOL gear on him and see how he does. So we're bringing him in for the reset on his S3. Now, the thing about him is that if we're playing him full control, he does one thing and then that's pretty much it, because he has no damage aside from his S3 and then potentially S1. As you see there, he did 400 damage. He did 0 damage. Okay, he's not on a damage build. He's on a fast control build, and so we want the reset on the highest attack unit. But you'll see here we brought him into a bruiser team comp, so the reset honestly doesn't matter too much, right? He does get his proc from the S2, which allows him to go into the S3. You saw we held it there, and we get the full strips. We get the full strips except on the grass unit because he is a water unit, even though he looks like a fire unit. The full strips allow us to go straight into the LQC, which we can then bomb everybody, and it keeps everybody from reviving. So full strips, check. Reset, that's fine. I mean, we didn't need to reset anybody, but you'll see that's pretty much GG. On this next one here, he has an AoE attack. So keep that in mind if you're hitting any kind of REMs, because guess what? REM is going to wake up and she's going to be upset. She's going to be very upset with you for waking her up, and then it's going to be a bad time. You'll see here, we just get controlled. After Taeyou goes, it's a bad time for us. We just get instantly destroyed because of the counters, and then that activates our Lionheart Zermia, and then that activates the Politis, and it's pretty much GG. If we could have killed maybe the Rem here, we might have had a shot, but yeah, there's no way we're going to beat the Rem. Especially since we have 0 sustain. You'll see that the Taeyou just goes down. We are running him, just keep in mind, on a meme build. I know this is probably isn't his most optimal build, but I think, trying something different, trying something other than straight up damage. You'll see here, we're finally bringing him into a Hwayoung, right? Because I guess a lot of people kept saying he's a Hwayoung counter because he does reset the unit with the highest attack. So even though we don't have that rage buff here, we still reset. So he did his job, right? But after that, he's pretty much useless. Since we went first, there was no activator for him, and that really didn't do anything for us. Maybe if he had like an unbuffable on his S3 or some kind of debuff, like a stun. I know that's a lot to ask, right? Like for an AoE stun on his S3, that's kind of cracked. But you'll see here that even though he has like 0 crit, 0 damage, he still does pretty decent damage with that rage buff. If you can get him to go with his S1 into S1 extra attack, he's going to deal pretty decent damage. So the rage increases attack and speed by 10%. So it does make him faster. So that's why we thought, hey, you know what? Let's build him as close as possible to 300 speed and see what he can do. He did okay in this one. He was able to reset the Hwayoung. That allowed us to set up everybody else to follow up with strips and damage, or we got some strips ahead of that. But we are bringing him into RTA, and just as a heads up, in RTA, he's awful. He is pretty bad in RTA. This is, I think, one of the worst new units that's come out for a long time. That's been really, really bad in RTA. I think the other unit that I can think of that I saw a lot of that was really, really bad was Pirate Flan, right? Pirate Flan was pretty bad. She wasn't that great, but you know, some people still made her work. And on this build, you know, we want to follow up right after the opener. And here in this one, he does just that. So we're actually able to reset and strip everybody. Now, we still lost that one, but he did his job, sort of, right? In this one, we're going right after the Conqueror Lilius again. He's 280-ish speed, so we can follow up right after that. But then he just gets controlled. He gets pushed back. He gets silenced. He gets debuffed. So you would have to build him like with that very high Solitaria build where she's built like high resistance and high effectiveness. I think if you really wanted to build him control, but if that's the case, I think there are other units that are going to do a way better job instead of just resetting one unit. Maybe if he had a full AoE reset, you know, if he procs the rage buff, he has the potential to AoE reset. I think that would be pretty cool. Honestly, you saw there that the Hwayoung actually destroyed the Taeyou because he didn't do his job on that one. Here he does survive because he is on the tanky boy build. He survives that one, but it's pretty much GG on this one because we do not strip the Hwayoung. So there's not really much we can do aside from relying on the Taeyou to get his strip and reset on the S3. And that's kind of the thing. If he's built on this control build, he can still be blocked by that 15%. You see, we get resisted on that one and it's GG. There's literally nothing we can do. We need it to reset. You know, we tried a couple of fights and I would say we lost all of them. So we lost pretty much every single fight that we brought him in, except this one. This was the only fight where we got a shot to actually win because it's against some squishies. And since we haven't built somewhat fast, I think we speed RNG'd. We're able to reset the fire hand guy. And that actually protects our Spectre Tenebria, believe it or not, because he does have an AoE. And then that allows us to start taking out units one by one. So you'll see we take out the Para here. He is able to tank some damage because again, he is on that tanky boy build with some speed. We're able to deal some damage and start working on that APOC Rabby. Now this could have definitely become APOC Rabby show, but it is a 3v1. He takes out the Taeyou, but he did his job pretty much. You know, anyone that he revives, I think the Firehand guy was still reset. So I think we would have been okay. Acid, I don't think has enough damage to take out the SSB. And then we land the defense break on the APOC Rabby. So it's pretty much GG here. And, you know, for just straight up control, straight up resetting a unit, I mean, for the most part, he does his job, but resetting just one unit doesn't seem worth it. It doesn't. It honestly doesn't. You know, I think there are plenty of other units that you could definitely bring that could, you know, do the job better. Mainly Jugs Kisei, right? You can definitely bring regular Kisei to do the exact same job, but just better because she's going to deal some damage. So here he is, Taeyou. We got him on a speed crit build. He is on AOL gear, so keep that in mind. We do have him on Champions Trophy. If you go back and look, he was actually able to land some stuns. He landed some stuns with the S1, which were hilarious. 0 skill ups. So, you know, he did 3k damage on when he had that rage buff. So that's a lot of damage. Keep that in mind, because look at his stats. His stats are somewhat tanky: 1300 defense, 16k HP, 280 speed. Again, we try to get him to that 300 mark, but 115 base speed is rough. 76 effectiveness and some effect res. It's honestly not worth the build, not worth the bookmark. So hopefully you haven't summoned for this unit, but if he had a full reset, like a full AoE reset, I think that would make him very, very viable for control. And I think that should be his build, honestly. But his S1 does do a lot of damage, but you do need to hit with the S1. You do need to get him to survive. He does get a skill null, but he can still get stunned. He can still get debuffed. And I mean, are you really going to build effect res on a unit that needs a lot of damage, needs crit damage, speed, attack, right? Needs a lot of stats. So that's why we went with the just speed, some effectiveness build, because why not? Let's get some resets and try to have fun. We'll see how this works in GVG. We haven't tested it out yet, but let me know your thoughts. What do you think of Taeyou? Have you tested him? Were you still considering pulling him? Honestly, I cannot recommend this unit, and I don't say that about a lot of units. I usually give them a shot, but he did feel really, really bad to play with in a regular arena and RTA. Like always, if you haven't enjoyed the video, hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed, think about subscribing. It really helps the channel grow and reach more people like you who likes content like this. Like always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.